Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Ya Allah. Allahu Akbar. Wassalamu ya Allah. Selamatkanlah semua hamba-Mu ya Allah.
And you could see all along the coast that we drove, complete destruction.
You will see nothing but devastation. Everything is destroyed. An entire village is gone.
When the tsunami and earthquake happened in central Sulawesi, I was rang up the morning after the earthquake. Can you go to Indonesia straight away? So in the evening I left. The next day I was in Sulawesi.
Went straight away to Jakarta, spent about 2 days there trying to figure out our way to get to the disaster area, which was mainly in the island of Sulawesi. Part of the city was as if it's the city still the same as it is, but clearly you could tell that half of the city was empty.
Tidak ada pendarat, artinya saya itu memang dia putar sampai terdampar di situ. Kebetulan kan ada belakang ruko itu ada pintu besi. Nah, saya berpanjat di situ lagi. Datanglah ombak susulan yang kedua, dia bagi lagi itu runtuh, langsung naik di atap, saya langsung lompat ke lantai 2 ruko. Dia bawa pas dibagi ombak dari belakang langsung terlepas memang sudah. Tapi saya tadi dari cari baru motor saya dapat di situ sama dompet istri saya yang saya dapat di situ.
Went outside, got in the car, drove us to the camp or where we would be staying. A minimum of like 50 people. More than half of them came from outside Palu, all Indonesians, mainly Indonesians, coming to support the local people. The house is owned by a family that was affected. The actual house itself was struck by the earthquake. People heard about the earthquake and heard about tsunami. Everyone is referring to tsunami, but the actual fact that the earthquake was as bad as tsunami. Tsunami affected some areas, but the earthquake has gone even beyond that. Within the community there, almost no one goes hungry. But people will eat very, very limited food. So even ourselves would eat possibly 1 meal a day or 2 meals a day, whatever we can have access to, because most of the time we'll be outside, and outside you will not have access to food as such, you don't have access to water as such, because everything is almost closed. But at this house, this auntie, subhanAllah, the house is big, they have about 5 different rooms or 7 different rooms, but the auntie and her husband sleep outside. Her husband is blind, and when the earthquake happened, she was scared, she was screaming, and he was screaming, and he couldn't find his way out until she helped him. And then, since then he's been traumatized, and he said, I'm not going to stay in the house anymore.
There were 3 districts of central Sulawesi affected: Donggala, Sigi, and Palu, the city.
Dia melaporkan sama saya, tante, om sana tidak apa-apa, lagi ambil air wudhu, mau sholat. Jadi perasaan kami sudah tenang, tidak ada apa-apa. Tapi tunggu sampai malam, sampai pagi, tidak ada, sampai sekarang ini.
Oleh karena itu, hari ini sudah diambil kebijakan bahwa semua jenazah yang sudah dilakukan pemeriksaan postmortem dimakamkan semua. Baik dimakamkan oleh keluarga maupun dimakamkan secara massal di pemakaman oleh pemerintah. Jadi hari ini selesai semua.
We've seen so many people, those who've been carried inside the camp with injuries everywhere. You can't even reach out to them to speak with them because they're not in a state that they can speak with anyone. We've seen babies like 5 months old, 10 months old. We've seen pregnant women. We've seen. It was shocking that people have lost everything.
Ini dari atas sekitar 16 meter itu. Tas orang kemarin itu. Muncul ke atas baru ada yang gulung-gulung, ada yang pokoknya ini nggak tahu Pak, pokoknya ada yang ini sudah kelihatan tinggi semua, tinggal mau bawa tindis. Jadi dalam hati kalau memang sudah ajal ya apalagi mau dibikin, tinggal bilang sebut nama Allah begitu baru ada kayu yang lewat kemari kita itu sudah pakai sampai di sini kita injak. Ada 4 orang, ada sepupu 3, 1 ipar dengan keponakannya.
We were given mosques because we were told, although we've arrived about 7 days after tsunami hit, but yet they still would give us mosques because they know you would still smell the death over there. We arrived to areas where if you were to walk for 5 miles, you will see nothing but devastation. Everything is destroyed. An entire village is gone. I couldn't really imagine that the situation would be that bad. I could film a few things. I was live on my Facebook showing people what's happening because that's why I'm going there, to gather information, to show people the scale of the disaster and the reasons why we need their donation. But I did not ever think that I will see a body being carried in front of me. It's been 7 days since the tsunami. I had expected that everyone has been buried. You know that someone's father or mother or sister or wife has been there for 7 days. You could see buildings that have moved from its place to 500 meters down the road there, neighborhoods that were completely destroyed. We went to another neighborhood where we found that the locals gathering together with 2 local shuyukh, sitting there to give them some verses from the Quran, some reminders about sabr and how to be patient with all the tests that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is sending your way.
Para keluarga korban akan diberikan kesabaran, ketabahan oleh Allah Subhanahu wa taala. Mudah-mudahan yang sudah meninggal tadi Habib sudah sampaikan bahwa insyaallah syahid syahid insyaallah diampunkan dosanya oleh Allah Subhanahu wa taala, dan kepada keluarga mudah-mudahan diberikan kesabaran, ketabahan oleh Allah Subhanahu wa taala. Kemudian keluarga yang belum didapat sambil kita berdoa mudah-mudahan segera didapat. Amin ya rabbal alamin. Ya demikian, wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
I was talking to one of the residents whose home was just next door to the mosque and whose school was in this area here. Now the school split in two, half of it is there and half it is here, and everything has disappeared. Fortunately, this particular person didn't suffer any loss of his family because they were all in Makassar. But the rescuers have told us now that in this very area they've just discovered another 32 bodies, so which will add to the numbers dead in this disaster.
When I arrived, we sort of heard the death toll was about 500 or something, and in my mind was thinking it can't be that few, because the earthquake was so big and because the tsunami was so big, and gradually people began to realize the death toll going up and up and up. We went to the village which suffered the liquefaction, and there we stood on the road overlooking this whole village which had completely sunk, and every single house in the village was completely destroyed. There was nothing left standing, and that you realize the power of this earthquake and the impact that it had on real people's lives.
Saya minta tolong dia supaya ada mobil yang membawa jenazah anak ke rumah. Hanya itu harapan saya. Harapan saya lain tidak ada. Kenapa tidak mungkin saya punya anak ini dirawat lagi? Tidak mungkin lagi, Pak. Hanya ini yang saya harapkan. Semoga ada orang yang menggaris hati saya ini, supaya jenazahnya anakku saya bawa ke Tahir. Tidak mungkin saya tinggalkan di sini, Pak.
Think of the bombs dropping on London during the Second World War, and you lose everything. You lose your home, you lose your family. A bomb dropped on our backyard in London, and my mother told me how she lay on top of me to protect me from the bomb.
Statistics are coming to say that it will take them about a year just to clear out the mess, just to get the city or to get the villages or the neighborhood, just to clear them up. It will take them a year to do so. How about to rebuild again? And how about those families who've lost everything and now they don't have access to jobs? Yes, they've lost their shelter, they've lost their house, they've lost all their belongings, but where are they going to earn the money from?
Our real work begins after we have finished our emergency response. Then we have to make sure, okay, have we supported the people in order to have some sort of temporary shelter that gives them some sense of dignity and privacy and comfort? After that, the most important thing, and which is often not realized and is forgotten, is the importance of helping people to restore their livelihoods. Farmers need help to restore their crops. Fishermen need boats and equipment. The traders need to restore their credit and the things that they used to sell.
shopkeepers need to restore their shop. So these are the things. So how do we ensure that people's livelihoods are restored after disaster? And secondly, make sure enough early warning systems are in place to protect, to warn people before a disaster happens that what action needs to be taken. In Aceh, tsunamis have happened, 50 years ago, 100 years ago, but the people in Aceh had forgotten about what to do when a tsunami happened, because the waves go out after the earthquake, and then they come back huge. What happened in Aceh, people saw that waves go out. The earthquake is quite common, but when they saw the waves go out, they saw the fish. It was a Sunday morning and people were out bathing. They saw the fish and they went out to the sea to catch the fish, and then the 30 meters waves came in.
Melihat ruang-ruang di mana sambil teriak miren, miren. Ini kami, papa dengan kakakmu ini. Nah, tapi terjadi keheningan saja, tidak ada lagi suara-suara. Nah sudah dari situ, ya dengan terharu kami sangat sedih. Saya bilang, ini dalam situasi masih aktif ini goncangan ini, tetapi kami tidak akan pernah merasa takut. Yang diselamatkan itu dari 4 orang ini, salah satunya hamil muda. Dan itulah yang terakhir kami keluarkan karena lubang atau celah runtuhan itu sangat terbatas. Tetapi kami tidak pernah mengatakan itu tidak bisa kita keluarkan. Kita berusaha sehingga dia bisa keluar. Memang tujuan anak saya, tetapi ketika di saat itu suara lain yang terdengar, saya tidak pandang lagi bahwa itu bukan anak saya, tetapi saya anggap itu anak saya semua. Nah, sehingga saya berpikir, kasihan mereka, harus diselamatkan.
So it's very important always when you, after a disaster, to number one, make sure people can rebuild their livelihoods, and number two, make sure we build back better so that any buildings, any construction can withstand the natural disaster which is going to happen.
We all have received an official document that tells us the priorities, and subhanAllah, you'd be surprised that food wasn't one of them, because they have food, or somehow someone will share food with them. But priorities, something that people wouldn't really think about, body bags, because they had found so many bodies, they would need some extra body bags. Shelters, they wouldn't find enough shelters. Alhamdulillah, we, Muslim Aid, currently work in partnership with the UN and different organizations that we deliver on their behalf in Indonesia. We've been providing shelters in partnership with the UN inside Indonesia in the affected areas. We've been delivering aid on behalf of different organizations because of our expertise, because of the quality of work that we have there on the ground. And alhamdulillah, we'll continue to do that. One special thing about Muslim Aid, we never go to our country, we never go to a disaster zone to do the job, stay 1 year and go back. No, we will never leave until we know that the community is able to look after itself again. Alhamdulillah.
There's this imam overlooking the disaster and praying the resilience of the people. And the important message that he gave to them was, this has happened. What you have to do now, what's the important thing for you now, and how do you help each other after this? And I think this is the message that even people in that disaster, they were thinking, how do we help each other?
Kemarin baru mereka mulai kerja. Walaupun kita desak sama orang hotel, minta tolong di mana, kita punya saudara dalam sudah jadi apa, dibiarkan kan, kasihan tau. Kami sudah desak tolong gimana ini supaya bisa terevakuasi hari ini. Jadi kemarin kami kecewa juga karena cuma satu mayat didapat, langsung berhenti. Ya Tuhan yang tahu bagaimana perasaan ini. Kita berharap dia selamat, masih bisa, tapi kalau sudah begini, sudah berapa hari ini, kan tidak mungkin ya, terjebak begitu ya. Saya anda tahu Allah punya Tuhan dan tapi kalau dikasih lambat-lambat, ya.
One of my remembrances from Aceh, and my wife is from Aceh actually, she lost about 200 of her relatives in the tsunami, and some of them were very close, two nephews and her, so it impacted me a lot, the tsunami. But our brother-in-law, my brother-in-law, is the chief imam of the mosque in Banda Aceh. What he said about the disaster in Aceh, he said, this disaster came, it's a natural disaster, nobody should say it's a punishment, and if we look at it as a test, he said, we're probably looking at it from the wrong perspective. He said, the real test of a person is what do you do with your money, with your knowledge, with your power, when you have it, not when it's taken away. So the real message I have for you now is this disaster happened, now you have something, what are you going to do with what you have, with what money you still have, with what authority you still have, what knowledge you still have, what are you going to do with that? This is the message he gave, and I think this is the message that I took away from every disaster I've been involved with.